Good afternoon, Alan Vandenberg here. Another episode of EQ for You, episode number 29. Today's episode is Assuming Positive Intent, coming to you from Fort Morgan, Colorado, where we're here to meet some friends and attend a wedding over the weekend. So I thought I'd do my video here. So hopefully everything is going well with you. We are operating off the idea that 75% of a person or a team or company success is not their IQ. So it is EQ, which is emotional quotient, or emotional intelligence, EI. If you have not done so, please pick up a copy of my book called EQ Kill the Radio Star: How Emotional Intelligence Can Crush or Crash Your Organization. You can get that at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or AlanVandenberg.com. Also, too, please subscribe to the YouTube channel EQ for You. I think that's in the lower right-hand corner there. Hit the subscribe button and you'll get these every other week or so. And last thing I wanted to mention is if you're looking for a keynote speaker for your company or your organization or your team, would love to come and talk to you about emotional intelligence. We have a great time. We laugh a little bit and we learn a lot about emotional intelligence and emotional quotient, EQ. So if you're interested in doing that, please reach out to me on social medias that I'm out there. Just PM me. Would love to talk to you about that. And so on to today's topic, assuming positive intent. So as we get back to face-to-face interactions with coworkers and life events and things like weddings in Fort Morgan, Colorado, we are having to dust off some of our EQ skills that we have not used in several months. And we, meaning me for sure. So how to effectively communicate face-to-face. We have a tool in the EQ Kill the Radio Star book called the IBR model, and it's used to help with communication. So what is IBR? It is intent, behavior, result. Intent, behavior, result. So when communicating with others, we can start with the results side on what we want it to look like, or we can start with the intent side on the other side of what is our intentions. And so today I'm going to be talking about that a little bit, assuming positive intent. So assuming positive intent from others is a key input when using the IBR intent behavior result model. Are there people that have negative intentions in the world? I get asked this all the time, and the answer is absolutely. We meet and work with people that have hidden agendas. They set us up for failure. They try to get us, kind of thing. This is absolutely, there are people that are out there that do that. But for the most part, and I'm talking like 90 high percent, that is not the norm. What happens is that we get involved sometimes with one particular incident where somebody has negative intent, and then we assume, and I mean assume, that everybody is out to get us. So then we create this program to ourselves, and we repeat it over and over again, is everybody's out to get us, which is an absolute incorrect statement. It's not true that everybody is out to get you. That's just not true. That would mean 100% of the people are out to get you, and that's just absolutely not true. So living with this kind of self-talk can and will prevent us from growing our communication EQ skills. So think about it. If every time you had to have a conversation with a coworker or with a family member or your boss or the CEO of the company, you assume negative intent, think about how that would think about what would happen if we did that. How would that conversation go? Well, we would automatically go in thinking they're out to get us, so we would be defensive. We would be attacking because we're assuming that people are out to get us, assuming negative intent. This is a huge detractor. Stephen Covey, in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, talks about assuming positive intent. And how would we ever get to what Stephen Covey would call a win-win solution or a third alternative if we're coming into a conversation with a coworker thinking that they're out to get us? So assuming a positive intent with everyone is not easy, but it's critical for our communication skills to grow and to continue to grow. So a couple of months ago, I was asked to step in on a project, and here's what the project was. There are 4 locations, 2 that are old and 2 that are new. And all 4 locations needed to be upgraded to this fuel system to where they could all be uniform. And so they asked me to step in, do a little bit of project management, and so I did that. So I sent an email to our consultant that's actually working on the project. And I just asked very nicely, I said, look, I'm just trying to get an update on where we're at on the installation of all 4 of these fuel systems, 2 to the new locations and 2 at the old locations. So what I got back was this email that was really clear on the 2 new locations. I had specific dates and progress on the 2 new facilities that were going to go live with this fuel system. What I didn't get so much is what was happening to the older locations. I didn't get a lot of clarity on that. As a matter of fact, the email said, I'm not for sure what's really going on with this. So I immediately went to a negative intent. Why did I not get, what's going on with the older locations? Where are we at with this? And just like any text or email, when we're unclear of what's happening, I did not email back. What I did was I got on the phone with our consultants and I said, hey, I see this email, I'm reading it. Thank you for the update. We've got clear communication and clarity on the 2 new locations. What's going on with the 2 old locations? And this is what the consultant told me. They said, well, actually, Alan, that's not a part of the scope of what our project is. We're only responsible for the 2 new locations. But I have kind of stepped in and tried to find out what's going on with the old locations. Even though it's not in the scope of work, that's what I'm doing. So I assume negative intent when in reality our consultant was going above and beyond what we had asked them to do in the statement of work. That's what happens when we assume negative intent. When we assume negative intent, we kind of get these stories going on in our heads of like, well, why aren't they doing their job? When we ask for clarity and then assume positive intent, what we find out is that they were going above and beyond their job. So it was just interesting that how I was using my self-talk to kind of go down this negative pathway, but then clarifying through a phone call how we got on the same page, and we are going forward with that. So how many times do we assume negative intent? I'm really good at it. Sometimes I see a situation or hear something or get an email and I go, oh, this has got to be bad. It may not be bad at all. A lot of times it's just lack of clarity. So what would happen? How would our work life be? How would our home life be? How would our friends be like and the interaction be like if we assumed positive intent? My guess, at least for me, is that I would not be wasting so much energy. You ever done that? You wasted energy on something and you find out, I was completely wrong on that. I believe I wouldn't use as much energy. I would enter into conversations and interactions with other people with more of an open mind, less defensive, less attacking, and being open to the positive pieces. So assuming positive intent is a daily journey. Sometimes it's really, really hard because it's easy to go to the negative. People and events shape our programming and thought process, which in turn affects our behavior and the results that we get. So I want to get better results. So what I'm going to do is continue to work on my daily journey of assuming positive intent. And I would encourage you to do that as well. Hopefully this was helpful for you. Again, as we get back to people interactions, we're going to be using the intent behavior result model every single day. And I would encourage you to assume positive intent. So I'll leave you with these 3 things. Find what you're born to do in life and do that to the best of your ability. Don't let anyone or anything steal your joy and your happiness. And the 3rd thing is live life every day because nothing is guaranteed. All right, have a great day and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.